Well, if your last name starts with an R, then you're the only thing standing between us and a pachanga after this. You know, I was very fortunate to have been selected to so many things through my life. I remember being asked to be I was the outstanding Hispanic engineer in the United States. I was the outstanding Hispanic CEO. I was the outstanding Hispanic this. So one of my good friends at Rice University, Richard Tapia, who happens to be an amazing mathematician, called me up and said, "Hector, you finally won a White Award." I noticed a pattern, starting with First Lady Laura Bush and down the line. And I'm very proud and excited that I continue that pattern. As you noticed, everybody has been married for decades to the same woman. I've been married to my wife, Judy, for 36 years. And I can tell you, just like everybody else, the support and encouragement and the things that we went through in our life of marriage. We have lived in 15 different homes in our career. And believe me, it's hard to set up a Christmas tree at each of those houses different. And so definitely there is a pattern. So thank you, Judy. And the pattern continues to the children. You know, we're very fortunate. We have 3 children that have been not only great kids, but an inspiration to both Judy and me. And they have taught me more than they'll probably ever know. I thank them. I think they're there somewhere. Raise your hand. It's really an honor to be part of this very distinguished group. And while at the same time, I have to say that it's gratifying, but also humbling. And I wanted to acknowledge and strongly underline one particular thing that I think is very important for people like me especially, is that throughout my career and my life, I was never alone. I have been fortunate to accomplish the few things that I have because I had the love and support of family, the inspiration and guidance of teachers and mentors, the encouragement of friends, and the competitive drive and camaraderie of my colleagues. And if somebody had told me that, and this is probably a little shift in gears for you in the audience, but somebody had told me that when I was 6 years old, shining shoes in a small town in Mexico, that I was going to be a distinguished alum of the University of Texas, you'd be nuts if you really thought that ever crossed my mind. And I was very fortunate to have met, as you saw in the video, a missionary lady, Miss Olive Giving, who for some reason had the persistence and the insistence that I had to learn, that I had to do things, and she was tough on me. I can't tell you how important her impact in my life was. The only interesting thing was when I went home and told my parents that I had met this missionary lady that really wanted to help me, first question they asked me is, how old is she? She was in her 60s, as I was only 14 or 15 years old. Well, like other beings recognized today, the tumult of the 60s provided the backdrop for my years at UT. During that decade of profound change in our country, Jack Kennedy, Bob Kennedy, Martin Luther King, the Vietnam War, landing a man on the moon, Woodstock, I mean, you name it. To be here at UT was incredible. This was a good place to be. As students, we were not isolated from the difficulties that the world was facing, the poverty that we experienced around the world, the wars that were going on, the misery in other parts, and even in our own country, the challenges that we had with civil rights and other issues. But we were in a place where I really felt that civil discourse was respected, and that education, fairness, and justice were shared values by the community at the University of Texas at that time. And that the poverty that I had experienced as a child and the bigotry in my youth did not matter here. What mattered at UT was to have that intellectual curiosity and the desire to learn and persevere and to stick with things And those qualities I had in spades. Fortunately for me, these qualities were recognized by a lot of professors at UT, a lot of friends, and I benefited enormously from the remarkable faculty that was here at that time, and I'm sure it's as good or better as it is today. But also from the personal interest that they took to nudge me along. And I'll give you a small anecdote to illustrate that. The school published a paper where I was listed as having been in the honor roll and the engineering honors programs and all those things. But that particular semester, I was having a tough time. I was struggling with some classes, and I remember this professor, my first test was only a 70 on the test, and his professor was Stepko Sesnik in electrical engineering. And he called me in and said, Hector, he said, you made a 70 on the test, but I've been reading about you. You're in the honors program, you were a valedictorian in high school, you were all these things. What happened? And it made me realize that there was somebody there that was taking an interest in me and wanted to know how he could help me. And when I asked him, why are you doing this for me? He said, Hector, it is my responsibility to teach you. And I have to use every possible tool I can to do that. One thing the university taught me is how abundantly clear it is to me how much work there is left to do. And I'm biased. I like technology. I love technology. I think technology is a wonderful thing, can do a lot of great things. But we have a long way to go for technology to be used even better, to harness the tremendous potential and the benefits that it has so that mankind can get better. And that someday, when we're no longer here, the planet that we leave behind will be better. In that vein, Breakthrough is an organization here in Austin that helps kids from elementary school all the way through college. This is one of the most phenomenal organizations I have ever known. They grab kids in the 4th grade and stay with them all the way through college. I took the liberty, and thanks to the Exes that allow me to do that, to invite 25 students from Breakthrough to be here today, and they're somewhere in the audience, because I was in their position sometime, and someone took an interest in me, and because of that belief and encouragement that she had, I was able to become a first-generation college graduate. Without a doubt, what starts here changes the world. And I hope, and I invite all the Exes to join me in the tremendous opportunity we have to start something here in Texas that can change Texas in a phenomenal way, that can change the nation. And by definition, if we change the nation, we're going to change the world. And that opportunity is to embrace the changing demographics in our state and be able to provide all Latino kids in this state the same opportunities that I had. As a great president of our nation once said, it starts by changing the soft bigotry of low expectations. So let's change those expectations and continue to excel in the tradition that Exes do so well. Let's change the world. Thank you very much.